Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to Lady Rose Queendom, Lady Rose After Dark. Y'all. I've been roaming around the YouTube streets and child, what did I stumble upon but some myth? But some myths. Good evening, living for me. You say late night talk with Lady Rose. Please hit that button. Please hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Please do those things. Please, and I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Please, all things are led shouted, all in my opinion, and they are all for entertainment purposes. Don't go out your way to like this, like nobody that you may hear me even voice about tonight. All right. Um, Please like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and if you like what you hear around here, tap that notification bell so you'll know when I'm going live. And welcome to Lady Rose Queendom, where we nourish, cultivate, and awaken your inner queen. You say, wouldn't be YouTube if it wasn't no miss. Girl, say that again. Because, baby, it's always a miss on the YouTube. Always some miss on the YouTube. And if you actually look at my title, it'll tell you what the miss I'm about to talk about. The title, my thumbnail says, whose job is it to announce the passing of a loved one? Whose job is it? Is it proper etiquette? I mean, what is proper etiquette? Tell me that. Is it your job to announce someone else's loved one's passing? Hey, Brown Girls Rock, girl, what you doing up this late at night? um, who should do it? And what to say and what not to say when you are announcing someone's their passing, and how to show respect and compassion when doing so, right? Some things we have to handle with care, and I think that's one of those things. Um, so that's what I'm here to talk about. Whose job is it to announce the passing of a loved one? And many of you may know my talking points. Many of you may know where I'm going. Some of you may not. But we're gonna talk about it. How about that? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So again, I want to say welcome to the Queendom tonight, to Lady Row After Dark. I thought I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I decided I was gonna say something because I wasn't gonna let this one just get by. You said you up roaming. Well, thank you for roaming this time of night. Just like I be roaming late at night too, me and my AirPod. And so I don't wake my husband up, especially if I haven't had any sleep. But tonight's conversation is going to be a little different, you guys. It's going to be a little different. We're not talking about reality television drama. We're not talking about ratings or gossip. We're talking about something that every single one of us will experience sometime in our lives. We're going to experience this, and that's the loss of a loved one. You're going to experience it. I'm going to experience it. I have experienced it. I'm sure you all have experienced it. But recently, I witnessed a situation that made me stop and ask an important question. Now, I've seen these situations pop up from time to time, but this one in particular made me kind of like stop. It was shared in a group that I'm in, and I looked at it, and when I looked at who it was, I was like, oh man. Then when I looked and saw who actually had announced it, I was like, what the hell? Some stuff just make you kind of stop in your boots and kind of, question life. Is this the Twilight Zone? Is this thing on? Is this real life? Is this fake? Some things just kind of catch your breath, right? And make you kind of sit back for a minute. And then I started thinking, who has the right to announce the passing of someone else's loved one? Who literally has that right? I could think of a couple, the funeral home, maybe the newspaper, if it was a tragic incident or so forth, or if you took out an ad in the newspaper. That's another thing. In today's world of social media, everyone seems to want to be first. First to report it, first to post, first to break the news. But when it comes to someone's death or unaliving, someone should being first ever be more important than being respectful. right? Because again, like I said at the beginning, that this is something that every single one of us will experience at some point in life. We are all going to experience the loss and the death of a loved one. It's just going to happen. None of us, as my mama used to tell me before she passed away, none of us get out of this here world alive. None of us. You could either go by way of the ground, the sky, but none of us gonna make it out of this here earth alive. And that's just reality of life. Then for me said, if you don't have that relationship with that person or the family, it's not your call. I'm totally with that. I'm totally with that. Brown Girls Rock says the spouse or parents. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Or the children. The next of kin, I would say, is the one that should be announcing it. Not the one that's been on YouTube calling the person out their name, lying on them, making up stuff on them, scandalizing their name, throwing bricks at them, and then having the and the audacity to come down here and announce their loved one's death. Are you okay, girl? Or do you hit that pipe every now and then? I be wondering about you. I see you over there doing the ooey and the fool. Brown Girls Rock says siblings or close family. I agree with that one. Siblings or close families. It should be someone else besides you. I'm gonna put that way. It should be someone else besides you. Anyway, when it comes down to someone's death, should being first ever be more important than being respectful? And my thing is, I don't think so. When a family loses someone they love, their world has changed forever, especially when it's a parent. Especially when it is a parent. You said that's some sick stuff to do. Yes, ma'am, it is. Brown Girls Rocks. Living for Me said, get permission if you don't fall in that category instead of trying to be first to be messy. Oh, baby. You just preached a whole sermon without even having a text or 3 points of reference, baby. You just preached a whole sermon. Like I said, when you lose a loved one, your life changes forever. We just talking candidly. Get your nightcap or whatever you like to drink. Get your snuggie. Get your pajamas on. Your moo. Grab your throw, because it's a little chilly in here. So I got my throw across my legs as I sit at my desk and my heating pad, because child, I want to stay warm. We got this air on 72. It's cold. But I will say this, that it should never be more important than being respectful. When someone passes away that you love, like I said, your life has changed forever. And they're notifying family members, right? Because that's normally what happens. When your loved one passes away, you notify aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, people that are close to you, not a content creator, not someone who has disparaged your name for sure. You definitely ain't notifying them. You definitely ain't talking to them. You ain't sending them no announcement like they the announcement clerk at church. No, ma'am. You said Brown Girls Rock said they do it all the time on Facebook. I hate it. Me too. Me too. So much and so I was telling the ladies about my sister's mother-in-law when she passed away. Group of people who were not family started putting it on Facebook. And I actually made a whole post. It said, please respect respect other people's family members. So much and so into her family, the lady who had passed away, her family started inboxing me and posting up under my comment, thank you. Thank you. It's a shame you had to say that, but thank you. And that's what lets me know people have no morals. Who raised you? A pack of wolves? The bears? The turtles? Who raised you? Tadpoles? Because it couldn't have been a human being. Or maybe it was. And maybe that human being, I ain't gonna say that. Let me go back to my conversation, child. I just don't like it. Don't like it at all. Then for me said my BFF in Rochester just told me a mother found her daughter was unalive by way of Facebook Live. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's insane. How ignorant and uncouth can you be? Like I told you, this person that, like I said, was a bunch of people that was doing this to this lady. And this happened to be my sister, her mother-in-law was a bishop's wife. So that means she was someone in the church. And then you have other people that are out here, oh my God, sorry to hear, because they start posting up under the loved ones, their Facebook pages. Sorry to hear about your mom. Sorry about your mom. Sorry. And this lady had family members as far west as Seattle, Washington, California. They were all over the globe. And she had passed away only within an hour from these people posting this stuff, right? So that meant the family in California and Washington had not even had any idea that their loved one had passed away while sitting on the dialysis machine. Because you got people that are so ready to tell it, so eager to tell the bad news. Guess what? Like I said, it's going to come a day that every single one of us are going to be that person that has received the bad news. Lynn for me said, no respect at all. I totally agree. Tracy Kirby said, good evening. I'm catching up. Thank you for joining, Tracy. Really, really appreciate you being in here. Y'all please hit the thumbs up bell. So, the one thing I know that when someone passes away, again, people are trying to notify next of kin, family members. I know this for a fact because I've lost my mother and my father. And those are the things when my dad passed away, I can remember my mom taking out her phone book because, baby, the internet, we didn't have no internet like this. We didn't have no smartphones. She got out her address book, went through and started making phone calls. She had to notify my dad's brother. She had to notify my brothers and sisters, which I had already taken care of because they were in another state. We were in another state because I'm the youngest of all the group. We were in one state and my siblings were in the other state. I notified my siblings while we were taking dad to the hospital. And my mom, when we got back home that morning, because my dad died in the wee hours of the night, when we got back home, I could remember her taking out the phone book and calling people to notify them of what had happened. I could remember neighbors bringing food to our house, and I was in my young 20s. I think it was 23 when dad passed. But just imagine if someone else did that. Even with the passing of our mother, we as a family decided when we would announce it. My mother passed away late on a Saturday night. We didn't announce it until late on a Sunday evening because we needed time to process that. We needed that moment. Because I'm going to tell you something. There is no hurt like losing a mama and a daddy. Do you hear me? I haven't lost a child, Lord, knock on wood, that I never have to bury one of mine. But I know what it feels like to close the casket on that one who gave you life. And it isn't easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to love the person who took care of you when you couldn't take care of yourself. It's not easy to bury the one who wiped you, gave you a bath, fed you when you didn't even know you was hungry. But they knew. The ones who brought you into this world, took care of you. It's hard. That's a hard job by itself. So why would you go and add to someone else's pain? But some of y'all ain't got good ass sense. I'm going to say it just like that. Some of y'all ain't got good ass sense. Brown Girls Rock said, I found out my mother had passed away. My grandmother had passed via Facebook, and I was, oh my God. I cannot imagine that pain. Cannot imagine that pain. Like I told you, I've dealt with loved ones passing away so many times. My mom's sister, her oldest sister, my favorite aunt, passed away in a car wreck. I remember getting the call. My mom was in the beauty shop working, and I couldn't even breathe. I was hyperventilating because all I heard was your auntie is not, she didn't make it. And I was, and I was running out to the beauty shop to get my mom. And when I got to the door, my mom said, "What is it? What is it?" And I couldn't breathe. Finally, I got calmed down enough to tell her. And my mama told her customer, she said, "I got to go. You can wait on me, but I don't know when I'll be back." And we took off. But those things happen. Those things happen. And things we there's nothing we could do that will change when our loved ones leave us. But you and I, as adults, can handle how we treat others who lose their loved ones. We can choose how we treat others. Social media, like other people say, is a blessing and a curse. It's tapped us into people that we left high school with and haven't seen them since. But it's also been a way that we can hurt each other in ways that we shouldn't be hurting each other. Brown Girls Rock says, my mother also passed away while I was on a cruise. Oh my God. My Lord. I'm sorry. Because I'm going to tell you this. My mother got sick. She took sick while I was in Dubai. My sister called me, and I was my mother's POA, and she said, "Mama's sick, but don't you rush home. She gonna be okay. She's at the hospital, yada, yada, yada." When I left to go to Dubai, my mama was talking to me. When I came back, she just opened her eyes, no words coming out her mouth. So I cannot imagine, because it's painful. I'll tell you something. I told a girlfriend of mine recently, when you lower the head of that casket on your mama, baby, ain't nothing a devil in hell can say they can hurt my feelings. Because that right there hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's move on into this conversation because it's getting way deep, honey. Lady Row After Dark ain't supposed to be this deep. Have to grab me some tissue in a minute. So, the thing that we should be doing, like I said, they're notifying family members, making those difficult phone calls, comforting one another, trying to process the unimaginable grief. And the last thing they should have to worry about is discovering that someone else has already shared their personal tragedy with the world. Especially if you've been on this here YouTube calling them out their name. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's just ignorance, right? In my opinion, announcing the unaliving of a loved one is a privilege that belongs to the immediate family or someone the family has specifically designated and asked them to speak on their behalf. Like I told you, our mother passed away in April of 24, I'm sorry. And we decided on the date that she passed away, we wanted to go home and go to bed. We had been up, my mama was on hospice. We had been in her bedside over 24 hours. We had cried, we had prayed, we had sung, we had cried, we prayed, we sung. When she took her last breath, we cried some more. So we decided we was gonna go home and go to bed. And when we went home and went to bed, we decided that next morning we had a little meeting and my siblings, all of us sat around among each other. They said, now we can announce it. And once we announced it, we did a formal announcement because my mother was a dignitary in our church. We did a formal announcement, and I saw people saying, now that the family has announced, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it should be done. No one should run ahead of the family without the family's permission. The question that is worth thinking about is respect is something we should suddenly discover because it isn't something we should suddenly discover because tragedy strikes, right? Respect should already exist among each other. What did we come to as a nation? What did we come to as a people? I saw an article this morning on the internet, and it was talking about this lady who had taken her mom to Japan for a week vacation. Her mama said, and she took her, they rode business class, and her mama was sitting at home, and they done made it back home. They've been to Japan, back at home, and she was sitting in her her rocking chair, and she said, I'm trying to figure out a master plan. And it's a black lady, baby. When I tell you, I was laughing at her so hard, and she said, what is it, mama? She said, I'm trying to figure out how I can get back to Japan. Because America, we've been sold a whole bunch of stuff that ain't always true. And I will tell you this, on my travels, when I left the Caribbean and Mexico on my travels, I realized it's a whole other world out here that ain't doing half the crap that we do here in America. Life isn't nearly as hard for them. And I'm going to tell you this, if I could figure out how to live in Thailand, I would make Thailand my home. Serious business. Either Thailand or Bali. Life is so much simpler there. But life is hard here in America. There are rules there that you ain't going to break. And that's the problem. America has so many freedoms. We feel free to do everything but the right thing. Free to talk about everything but talk about the right thing. Tracy said, the life we live is another level now. It's more people out there that are now attention seekers instead of being respectful of others. Oh my God. Tracy, you preached a sermon too without taking a text in 3 points. You actually did. That is so true. But the Bible says that in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves instead of lovers of God. It talks about the father being against son, and son against father, and mother against daughter, daughter against mother. Then it talks about the neighbors being against each other. And that's where we're at. The neighbors against each other. The Bible also said we be weaker, we be wiser, but weaker. Everybody know everything. We got all the answers, but ain't got a lick of power. We weak. If our world as we know it did like we did back in COVID today, how many would be able to survive? Let's say there was a major catastrophe and we had no lights, no electricity, power outage across the world. How many people would be able to survive? Think about it. Anyway, before respect isn't something we shouldn't suddenly discover. It's something that we should already have, right? And one thing that really stood out to me in this is when someone loses a parent, a spouse, a child, or another loved one, our first response should be compassion. That should be the first response, is compassion. Before the commentary, before the opinions, before the headlines, there should be simple human kindness. And if you've been the one that's been out here calling this woman out of her name, how dare you announce her father's unalive, her father's passing? How dare you? How dare you? Simply disgusting. You're a disgusting human being. I can imagine what your life is like. I can imagine what your day is like. You must be miserable. Brown Girls Rock says the disrespect is at an all-time high, especially on social media. Definitely. Definitely. Sometimes I wonder, am I living in a twilight zone? For real, for real. And sometimes the most powerful words we can offer are simply, my deepest condolences to the family. But guess what? You posted about this lady's father passing away, and you didn't even offer your condolences. That's how ignorant you are. I didn't say ignorant. Ignorant you are. You didn't even say, oh, I'm sorry your father passed. None of that bull swanky panky. Even if it was a lie, you could have offered your condolences. Instead, you decided you would open your big mouth and your triple chin and talk about this woman's father who had just died. Anyway, moving on. Those few words acknowledge that real people are hurting. They do. Friend of mine, really good friend of mine, mother passed away this year, right after Mother's Day, or right before. It was in May. And My mother's unalive. My mom's passing is pretty fresh to me. Although it's been 2 years, it's still fresh. I could look at something and see my mom, right? So she posted on Facebook that her mom had passed. And she and I, we traveled together. She's the reason why I go to Africa and I went to Bali and some of those places. Now, Thailand, I went on my own, but I went to Africa with her. I went to Bali with her. And I called her. And you know what? Words wouldn't even form. And all I could say was, I'm sorry. And I could hear her crying on the other end. And I said, I'm so sorry. Because I know that hurt. That's not a hurt I would wish on my worst enemy. Do you hear me? So a couple days later, I text her. And I said, I want to come over, but I don't know what to say. And I just don't want to sit in the room and stare at you. She said, I know. Because I can remember when my mom passed. People would call me and just say some of the dumbest things. When my brother died, some of the dumbest things. Things you'd be like, what? My mom passed away. My cousin walked up and gave me a hug and she said, you got to let this go. I pushed back from her, saying, I got to let shit go. That was my mama. I ain't got to let a mother sucker thing go. Your best bet is to move out of my way. And let me get down this aisle and out this church. That's your best bet to do. You're going to have to stop crying. You're going to have to get it together. I ain't got to do a damn thing. Because that lady laying up there at the front, it's my mama, not yours. So don't tell me I got to get it together. No, ma'am. So I think sometimes people forget that people are human and that people are hurting when they do things like that. Live for me said messy is what it's called, child. You think it's just messy, but live for me, I think it's worse than messy. I think it's worse than messy. Huh? How's she gonna say something like that? Girl, people say all kinds of stuff to you. I'm telling you, when you've been there, you know. Baby, she walked up, gave me the biggest hug. I thought she was trying to comfort me. Girl, she whispered in my ear, you're going to have to let this go. You have to get over this. Lady Ray, you got to get over this. Girl, I backed up, looked her in her face. I said, what? I ain't got to do a motherfucking thing. Better get out of my way. Better get out of my way, baby. My mama. And I love my mama. I can't speak for what you did with yours, but I love mine. Love my daddy too. I thought my world crashed when he passed away, but my world folded in two when my mama left me. Folded in two, and I'm a grown woman, but my life felt like was folded in two. Cause I still need my mama sometimes. Still want to talk to my mama sometimes. Still, there's some things I was thinking about the other day, baby. I want to call my mama and just say, girl, you won't believe what just happened to me. Because we could have us some crazy conversations. We could. And if I complain about my husband, my mama would just clap her up. And I'd be like, you ain't got nothing to say. She said, I didn't tell you to marry him, did you? Did I? No, ma'am. I ain't got nothing to say. I had to put y'all together. I ain't gonna break you up. Ain't in that. Y'all will figure it out. And guess what? She was right. We figuring it out. We've been figuring it out for a long time. It is crazy, Burgers, right? You said I'm swinging if I hear that with no apologies, Tracy. You hear me, Tracy? You hear me? That's how I felt in the church. Girl, I pushed back and looked her dead in the eye. Girl, you better move around. I love my cousin, but don't play with me. Especially don't play with my mama. No, ma'am. She knew it too. Don't play about my mama. Anyway, it says, if we're going to use our platforms to share news about someone's loss, shouldn't we also use our same platforms to extend grace, to extend sympathy and compassion? Otherwise, people may wonder whether the goal was to honor the deceased or to simply be the first one to report the news. And we all know you just want to be the first one to report the news. There's a difference between informing people and caring for people. I have a lot of empathy. I have a lot of compassion. I think that's because of my career choice. A lot of compassion. I hear people delivering bad news on this internet, and I'd be like, oh, child, she don't never need to tell nobody that somebody passed away. Because when you deliver bad news, it should come with some empathy. It just should. As content creators, we should never lose sight of that difference. Now let's talk about funeral information. Let's discuss that. This is something I feel strongly about. I feel strongly about this. Now my daughter said at her funeral it's going to be invitation only. I'm not going to understand why. I'm still trying to decide if I even want people to go around and view me, because I don't need you looking down on me. Move around. So, just because someone knows the date, the time, location of a funeral doesn't automatically means it should be shared publicly. Okay, the funeral home announced it, and you don't like her, so why did you pass out funeral home information to a group of people that are known to be stalkers? Remember that lady who went down there to Stormy's warehouse? Remember her? Remember her? And Stormy cussed her out. Remember her? Courtney told her, what the hell you doing here? You can't be here. Get your ass out of my... Look, Courtney started it and Stormy finished it. Remember her? Let's talk about the ones who called CPS on Miss Wanda. That came out your group of people. Over there on your side. Or the ones that called down there to talk about Letitia to the city. Remember that? Let's talk about it. But you wanted to announce someone's funeral information as though they had given you permission to do so. Is that what you did this morning? You took your happy ass over there, copied and pasted some bull swanky panky off of the internet and posted as though you were the Time magazine or the Washington Post, Chad, the Wall Street Journal. I don't know who gave you publishing and editorial rights. Shit. You said got a good cussing out on live at that, baby. Do you hear me? Stormy pulled out words I ain't heard in a long time. Courtney said, you can't be around. Courtney was trying to save her. Like, you can't be around here. Stormy said, who is there? Bitch, get your so-and-so out. Rightfully so. Rightfully so, Brown Girls Rocks. Anyway, that decision belongs to the family, who they want at the funeral and how they want it playing. But baby, you done invited the world. You got on your social media platform and done invited the whole world to know the location, time, and date of the services. Some families choose to have public services, and I believe this is going to be a public service. But should you show your ass up? Probably not. Others intentionally keep them private. I have known of people who have had private services. For our mother, we had a public service, but we had a private burial. We took her back to her hometown next to my dad, and we buried her privately with just us. I told my siblings we did have some family, some friends that were close to us. My mama and dad had 8 kids, and they never stray from having a couple of strays. I always put that. We always had a stray or two with us when we went out in public. So our friends who were like siblings with us and really close to us, they went with us. They rode in vans. We rented vans and SUVs, and baby, we headed down the highway to make sure we put Miss Thing away the right way. And we did it on our terms, and that's the way it should be. You said both choices are to be respected. They deserve to be respected. If I choose to have a public service for my parents or a private service for my parents, both choices deserve to be respected, and not you and your unhinged friends knowing about the services. So y'all could have a possibility to show up. I pray to God that she has security there. So they can check y'all at the front door. And they probably should have metal detectors there as well. Publishing funeral details without the family's consent can create unnecessary problems, especially if there are individuals who have a history of crossing boundaries, harassing others, or showing up where they are not welcome. And we know y'all do that. We know y'all do that, showed up at housewarmings or open houses, going through closets and back doors and basements, straddle places. Child, a funeral should be a place of peace. It should be a place of remembrance, a place where family and friends can grieve without worrying about unwanted attention or disruptions. That's what funerals should be. Sometimes protecting a family's privacy is one of the greatest acts of respect that we can show to them. As a content creator, we have influence. People listen to us. People trust us. That influence comes with a responsibility. And just because we know something doesn't mean that just because we know something doesn't mean we're obligated to post it. So I'm gonna tell you this: I know a lot of stuff, and I don't come down here and push my horn about 1/10 of it. Because truth be known, I got some information on you from Miss Wanda. Because she went back down there and got a whole bunch of school police reports. Girl, you trifling. You was trifling. But I ain't came out here and said nothing about it, and I've been knowing about it. Not everything belongs on the internet. Not everything needs to become content. Sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do is remain silent until the family has spoken. So before we hit publish, maybe we should all ask ourselves a few questions. Am I helping this family? Or am I helping my channel? Is this for my channel? Is this for my own self-gratification? Am I honoring the deceased? Or am I chasing engagement? Am I acting out of compassion? Or am I simply just trying to be the first one to do it? These are difficult questions, but they're necessary questions. Because one day, every one of us may be the grieving family. Any day, anytime. As my husband used to say about football, or as they say about football, any given Sunday, it's any given day. It could be us that are the ones that are down there grieving. It could be any of us, any day. All of us know somebody who's sick, somebody who's not well, and then there's always those who just pass away. They just don't wake up. I have a coworker last month who went to bed on Juneteenth and month before last, went to bed on Juneteenth and the next morning did not get up, did not wake up. And they thought she was perfectly healthy. I have another coworker 2 weeks ago. We had an in-service 2 weeks ago. Actually, 2 weeks ago, this past Thursday. On the Friday, her and her husband out going to the store, broadside, and she was unalive. That's how quickly life can be taken away from you. So every one of us will one day sit at the seat of a grieving family. Trust me. Every one of us will want the opportunity to notify our loved ones before strangers do. Every single one of us. Every one of us will want our family members' life to be remembered with dignity instead of becoming content for someone else's gratification, whatever they may be. So tonight I want to hear from you. What do you believe, or who do you believe should announce the passing of a loved one, of someone else's loved one? Should anyone outside of the immediate family share that news without permission? Should funeral arrangements ever be made public unless the family has chosen to do so? Let's have a respectful conversation in the comment section. No name calling, no personal attacks. Just be honest. And let's have this discussion with compassion about boundaries, about proper etiquette, because kindness never goes out of style. It just doesn't. And respect never expires. There's never an end date on respect. And in moments of grief, our humanity should always be greater than our needs need to be first. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. And if this conversation resonated with you, please like the video. Subscribe if you're new here, and become a part of this queendom. And until next time, I want you to take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And as always, choose compassion over clout. Rest in peace, Donald Williams. Destiny, we're praying for you. I'll see you guys in the next one. If no one told you today they love you, I love you. And there ain't a thing you can do about it. Keep Destiny Williams in your prayers tonight. Bye-bye.